Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Maesuma top 14 coming in at an A+ here. So it's not the biggest major of the weekend, but still this event is insanely stacked. For our top 16 seeds, you're going to have Kananabe, 33 Parent Box, Aegis, and Noi in 13th, Ryuo, Rarikun, Riziasu in Now in 9th, and 7th you're going to have level 1 and Doramiki, 5th Snow and Umeki, 4th Tsubaki, 3rd Hero, 2nd Osimo, and seeded to win the entire thing is Miya. So our first topic qualifier is going to be between likely Miya, Noi, level 1, and Ryuo. Miya being the heavy favorite in this, obviously, as the first seed of the tournament. Now, his matchup versus Noi is going to be an interesting one. I would definitely favor Miya, both on paper and in practice. Noi is going to be playing likely Olimar or Pokemon Trainer, and if I had to guess which one he was going to start with, I would go with PT, just because I think they do a little bit better in the matchup, even though it is still losing. Ivysaur and Charizard have some decent tools to deal with Game Watch, so we'll have to see how that plays out, but I would definitely still go with Miya there. Now, between level 1 and Ryuo, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup, but honestly, I don't really think it matters who wins it because I just think that Miya is going to beat both of those players. Ryuo does have the matchup there. It is going to be Diddy Kong versus Game Watch, and I would favor Diddy there, but it wouldn't be impossible that Miya just brings out his Steve instead. And for level 1, he's actually been very impressive as of late. He was able to win Toyota Grand Slam 15 over players like Ryuo, like Yoshidora, so he's probably going to be the one that makes it to Miya, and that's definitely not an impossible upset. Again, heavily favored Game Watch in that matchup, but you do have some decent Geostones. You have some projectiles that the bucket can reflect, but the bucket isn't going to be absorbing the boomerang and the bomb, so you can throw them out a little bit more willy-nilly than you could a Snake Grenade or a Samus Charge Shot. So those are things to consider. Maybe the camping game for level 1 is a little bit better, and those disjoints are able to give him the edge, but what's likely going to happen is Miya is going to be a top 3 player in the world and move on to top 8. Another thing to add is that level 1 actually does have a winning record versus Miya, but also they've only played once and it was a year ago, so this doesn't really mean anything, but it is something to consider. Our next topic qualifier is going to be between Tsubaki, Aegis, Umeki, and Rarikun. Now, for Tsubaki, Aegis, they have played one time before. It was at Tsubageki 13, I believe. Don't quote me on that, though, but it did go into Tsubaki's favor, and I do imagine that it will go into his favor again. I mean, he has been looking phenomenal as of late, the best he's been playing, and Aegis has also been doing incredibly well, but I would still expect Tsubaki to take it. I also just think that Joker probably beats Terry. It either goes even or Joker is going to be favored there. Then you're going to have Umeki versus Rarikun. This is likely going to be Daisy versus Luigi. I can't imagine Rarikun brings out the Donkey Kong, even though you could definitely bully Peach in the disadvantage. I mean, you're a super heavy versus Peach. That's definitely not an ideal thing. And they do have a 1-1 record overall. You are going to have Rarikun winning their last encounter, but also it was like a year ago, so that doesn't really mean anything. And I would favor Umeki to win this one. He's just been looking very good as late. But to be fair, Rarikun has also been getting some pretty nice results in these last couple of months. Let's say our finals, though, is going to be the seeded Tsubaki versus Umeki. I'm actually going to go with Umeki to win this one because, as you can see, they have played 2 times before, and it went to Umeki's favor both times. Now, last time was 4 months ago. It was Game 3, so clearly there is a little bit of adaptation here. Maybe the third set is the one where Tsubaki figures it out, but based off the record, I have to go with Umeki here. Our next group of people is going to be Osimo, 33 Parent Box, Doramigi, and Riziasu. Now, for Osimo, 33 Parent Box, I would definitely favor Osimo going into this matchup, considering that he's taken set off Aquila before. I mean, you've beaten the best Steve. You could beat other Steve players. No offense at 33 Parent Box, of course, but Aquila is literally the best player in the world, and Osimo has clearly shown that he can deal with the best of the best, so I would definitely expect him to come out on top in that matchup. Then you're going to have Doramigi versus Riziasu. Now, they have played one time before. It was at one of Doramigi's first ever Ultimate tournaments. It's going to be actually his third ever Ultimate tournament, at least offline on this account, and he did drop that set to Riziasu, but honestly, this doesn't really mean anything to me, and I would favor Doramigi going into this. He's just been playing very well as of late. I mean, that run at Maesuma, we've talked about it 30 million times, but look at it. It's like a very, very good run. Kameme, Yoshidora, Proto, Bonham, I could go on and on. So I would favor Doramigi there, and I would also favor him versus Osmo. As you can see, records already pulled up. In their only encounter, he did win that. I definitely think that Min Min beats Ryu, and I will expect Doramigi to get top 8 of this event. And our final top 8 qualifier, through the winner's side at least, is going to likely be between Hiro, Kananabe, Snow, and Now. Now, for Hiro Kananabe, this is a pretty interesting matchup because they played twice before and it's gone back and forth. You do have Hiro winning their last encounter, and I would expect him to win this encounter. And my reasoning for that is, if you are playing Fox Bowser, you pretty much have to be perfect. You are going to be bullying this character for 90% of the game, keeping him an advantage that you're going to combo him to like 120 for essentially free. But if he gets to live one neutral interaction with that rage, you die at like any percent. So Hiro probably the best Bowser player in the world at doing that. And by probably, I mean absolutely the best Bowser player in the world at utilizing his rage. I mean, that's why he is the best Bowser player in the world. I think against Kananabe, especially if he's not playing perfect, he is going to absolutely explode. So I would favor Hito going into that one because I think Kananabe just has to do a lot more work. Then you're going to have Snow versus now we get the Mario Ditto. This is one of my favorite Dittos in the game, by the way, so hopefully it's going to be on stream. And honestly, I have no idea how it's going to go. It's a Ditto. They're very hard to predict. They're pretty much coin flips, but I definitely would favor Snow just because his results have been looking better as of late. But again, it's a Ditto. We don't really know what's going to happen. Regardless of what happens, though, I would probably favor both Now and Snow going into Hito just because it is going to be Bowser versus Mario. Kind of like I said earlier with Fox, except you have a lot more chances to make mistakes with Mario because you're not going to be as scared in that last hit situation because you have a couple more tools to secure the stock. You're also going to have a killing throw, which is not necessarily going to be used to kill Bowser every single time, but it's going to be used to get you a lot of stage control, which is obviously going to be very good. So I'm going to say that Snow or Now, whoever wins this 50-50, is going to move on to top 8 after beating Hito. Editing group block here, I just somehow completely forgot to mention H4's bracket, which I think is very good. He's the only invader at this tournament. Well, technically, he's been living in Japan, so he's not really an invader, but hey, I need America to get as many wins as we can because we're getting absolutely owned right now. And out of all of the tournaments in the entirety of Smash Ultimate, there has been one time that a Pikachu player not named Isam has won a B-tier tournament or higher, and that is going to be H4 and his win at Sumabato. Now, who was in the grand finals of that Sumabato, you may ask? Well, it was Snow, where H4 beat Snow. And who is H4 likely going to get after he beats Snow? He's probably going to get Now. So that is 2 Marios in a row. At this point, he's guaranteed 9th place. Who is he probably going to fight for top 8? Well, it's going to be between SSSR, who's playing Rob, very good match for Pikachu, Kananabe, who's playing Fox, arguably Pikachu's, or rather Fox's worst matchup, Moneyright, who plays like 30 characters at the top level, I have no idea who he's going to play, or Hiro, who is playing Bowser, which is, again, a very, very good matchup for Pikachu. I could absolutely see H4 top 8 in this bracket. He's got some amazing matchups going into it, and he's also been just doing very well as of late, so please, 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 keep your eye on him. Now, we aren't going to be doing the losers bracket just like the Terra video because it is so fickle, and what I've done instead is I've taken the top 20 players that I think are going to top 8 this event, and I've given them their percentages. Now, you have the confidence here with Miya, Umeki, Dora, Migi, and so these are the people that I picked to top 8 through the winner's side of the bracket. Then you're going to have the somewhat confidence here with Hito, Osimo, Tsubaki, and H4. H4, I already talked about his path with Snow. I think that is very doable. And for Hito, Osimo, and Tsubaki, if they don't qualify through the winner's side, I'm very, very confident that they will qualify through the loser's side of the bracket. So they're in the 75% chance here. Again, these percentages don't really mean anything. It's just kind of how confident I am. Then you have the maybe tier with Riziasu, Rare-Raccoon, Now, Ryuo, and Kome. And the reason that Kome's name is bolded is because if he beats Noi, he would go into Miya on the winner's side of bracket. And I definitely think that's an upset that can happen. Game Watch struggles a lot versus Shulk. I think that's a really difficult matchup for that character. And I could 100% see Kome winning that. But he has to get through Noi Force, and then he actually has to beat Miya, so we're going to have to see how that unfolds, though I do think that Kome can pull it off. You're going to have the perchance here with Noi, Aegis, Kananabe, Senra, 33 Parent Box, and SSSR. He just had a really nice event this last week, and all of these guys have just been doing very well lately. I've been very impressed by all of their gameplay, and the only reason they're not in the higher tiers is because, well, there's only 8 people that can get into this top 8, and the final tier, the Banjo Bonanza, is going to be Toraguri. He probably won't top 8 this event because he's playing Banjo-Kazooie, but Toraguri is so unbelievably good at this game that I at least have to give him a shout. It's not impossible that he top 8. It's going to be a lot of work. He has to go through level 1 first, and as I already mentioned, level 1 has been playing very good as of late, but if anyone can pull it off with Banjo, it would be Toraguri. And for the top 8, we're just going to be talking about the projected teams, because I do want to highlight everyone that was seen in the top 8 because they have earned these positions. Our first matchup in the loser side is going to be Level 1 versus Umeki. Now, these guys have only played one time. Level 1 did win. It was 4 years ago. Doesn't really matter. But I am going to predict Level 1 to win again. As I've mentioned plenty of times in this video, on a Terra's Link, he won Toyota Grand Slam. He's coming into this event with a ton of momentum. And I actually think that Toon Link does well enough versus Peach that I could see that matchup definitely going into Level 1's favor. Then you're going to have Dora Migi versus Snow. I'm going to predict Dora Migi to win that one. I just think that Min Min is a very tough match for Mario. It's incredibly difficult for him to get in. Now, once he does get in, whole different story. Absolutely bullies Min Min. But 90% of the game, I would say that Min Min probably has the advantage, especially in the neutral. So I'm going to give Dora Migi the benefit of the doubt and say that he closes that one out. So for our winner semis match, you got Miya versus Tsubaki and Osimo versus Hiro. Now for Osimo versus Hiro, I'm definitely going to favor Osimo going into this one. He has won their last 2 encounters. Now both of them are going to be game 5, so clearly they are very close sets, and overall the record is 2-2, so it's really tough to say how it's going to go between these guys, but just based off the recent encounter, I think you kind of have to go with Osmo in this one. Then you're going to have Miya versus Tsubaki. Now, heed my warning. Miya is going to win this tournament, unless Tsubaki sends him to losers at this point in the bracket. I honestly don't think anyone else at this tournament not can beat Miya, but will beat Miya. As you can see, the record is going to be in Tsubaki's favor. It is only 2-1, and Miya did win their last encounter, but also that was 3 months ago, and I think Tsubaki has been looking exceptional in these past couple months. So if Miya is going to lose at any point in the bracket, I think it is going to be to Tsubaki in this winner's semifinal. For the losers quarters, we got Umeki versus Hiro and Miya versus Doramigi, and I won't spend a ton of time on this because last set between Miya and Doramigi was extremely one-sided for Miya. I would be shocked if he lost this set to Doramigi, and I expect him to win it. Then you're going to have Umeki versus Hiro. Now, these guys have never played before. Umeki definitely could get caught off guard by this different playstyle of Bowser. I mean, he is such a scary Bowser, don't get me wrong, but also it's Umeki versus a super heavy. I think Umeki is probably going to take that. And for that matter, I think that Miya is definitely going to beat Umeki because Game & Watch is probably Peach's worst matchup, and also Miya has a very positive record versus Umeki overall, so I expect Miya to get into the top 3. So in the winners finals, we're going to have Osimo versus Tsubaki, and you are actually going to have Tsubaki winning their only encounter. It was at Japan 24, which was a long time ago to be fair, but also, if I had to guess who's improved more in these last 8 months between Osimo and Tsubaki, I would 100% give it to Tsubaki. He has been looking phenomenal as of late, and I would expect him to beat Osimo. I also just think that Joker probably beats Ryu if one of the characters has to be winning in that matchup. Then you're going to have Miya versus Osimo in the loser side of bracket, and as you can see, that is a matchup that Miya is fairly well versed in. He's got a couple reps on Osmo, and he's probably going to win it. Now, is it unthinkable to think that Osmo will beat Miya? No. Is he going to realistically? Probably not. I mean, he did it once at Alt-Core, which was a recent event, but Miya's record overall is just so good for it. Then you're going to have Tsubaki and Miya in the grand finals, and even though Tsubaki has a winning record versus Miya, I'm going to guess that Miya gets the run back, resets the bracket, and wins the entire event. Like, I am extremely confident that Miya is going to win this event. If I had to give percentages, I would give Miya a 75% chance to win, Tsubaki a 10% chance to win if he beats Umeki in the winner's side of bracket. That's going to be a very important hurdle in his tournament that he's going to have to overcome. Osimo, I'd give him like a 5% chance to win. Again, he's beaten Miya once before. Their last set did go to game 5. Beating him twice in one tournament is going to be really, really hard, though he doesn't necessarily have to. Maybe they'll meet up in the loser side of bracket, or Osimo will beat him in winner's finals, and then someone else beats him in loser side, most notably probably Tsubaki, but everyone else I would give a probably 10% chance to the field, let's say. Again, really, really think that Miya is going to take this one. He has been on cloud 9 as of late, and honestly, think it'd be a big shock if he didn't, and that's all I gotta say. The support has been absolutely unreal lately. Thank you guys for everything. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!